One I follow called Evan Carmichael did a post recently saying about keeping in touch with your inner child and how important it is to never sort of grow out of having fun once in a while. I took an opportunity to do this when I got back to playing basketball, which I haven't done in like over a year. There's just no basketball courts near me, unfortunately, but it just reminded me of how fun it was shooting hoops when I was a kid, and just trying to get better at doing it all the time, and how sort of focused I was on doing it. It's the one sort of sport that I really cared about out of everything, really, unless you count like karate as a sport, I suppose, as well. But one thing it reminded me of is the game called Kirby. Don't know if anyone's played it or if it's an English thing or an American thing or whatever. But we used to throw a basketball and hit it on the side of the curb so it'd bounce back, and if you managed to do it, you'd take a step back and then you'd carry on doing it between you until you see how far you could get outward from the curb, so how far away from the curb you could get and still hit the curb and how it bounced back to you, if you know what I mean. So anyway, it's this game of perseverance. It's this game of constantly trying to get a bit better. And you think of anything like, I remember at one point I could almost completely do the splits. I can do like a standing split, and it was just a constant process of almost every day just trying to get a little bit lower, and it just reminded me of the importance of daily or weekly or just regular input, consistent attempts at getting a little bit better, and never giving up, because one day you'll fully be able to do the splits. One day, in this instance, I remember last year I went to the same venue, and I got about 2 steps further back from the basketball hoop as I did last year. So it represented an improvement because I just pushed that a little bit harder, and I was determined that I got to the point where I did last year and I took 2 steps back, not just 1 step, I took 2 steps, and I tried. It took about an hour and 25 minutes, I timed it, to go from just perfect shooting to hitting that wall and facing this impossible question of how can I possibly pot it, how can I score the hoop, when it just seems impossible. It just, I must have done hundreds of times. But my point is, patience and perseverance pays off. If you just keep trying and just work it into your daily routine or weekly routine of improvement. So for me, doing these videos, for example, it's an opportunity to, on a weekly basis, get better at talking and get better at being more confident, projecting my voice in a public environment. There's not many people around here exactly, but it's just a small effort that I keep making. And looking back on things that I did 2 years ago or something like that, I can see marked improvements, and that's all that really matters. The worst thing in the world for me, I think, is if you look back a year ago, like in this instance, and you literally just didn't get any further. So metaphorically, if I wasn't able to step as far back from the basketball hoop as I could this time, or if I couldn't go further, if I hadn't improved, then you just think, what was the point of you being alive? I think one of the most demoralising things for me was there was a period where I was working and I was losing money essentially. It's costing me more to live than I was earning. And a year goes by and you just look and you think, what's the point? I'm just working to like live, and I'm actually paying to live. So alternatively, if you can look back and think, well, I achieved X, Y, and Z, my savings increased this much, or I've paid off this much on my mortgage or something like that. Are there measurable small wins? Are there ways that you can look back and say, I achieved something, and that can give you sort of confidence and fuel motivation for going forward and being better at what you do? But like I say, tying it all back to simple games that we played as children, I think that was one of the biggest things about encouraging your children to play with other kids and to pursue sports and hobbies and pursue achievement academically or outside of academia is that you learn to engage in that process of continuous improvement, which is, I believe, one of the most important things to happiness, to success, to enjoying life really overall. It's very difficult to, if you don't ever succeed at anything and you just give up too easily. I see that so often and it's disheartening. But anyway, I'll stop rambling. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you found that helpful. Thanks all.